Turner Yell makes the stop in the secondary for Denver. 1st and 10. The fake. Good block in there, and down it goes. Caught at the 30. This is the dynamic Hill. He's in for six. Tyreek Hill. Touchdown. What a block.
Take into your hands a plan. Your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be fucking sour. Take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder. Work until you're prouder. And all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off, it's these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve it now. It's only worth it if you work for it.
I mean, I kind of get triggered, kind of understand, like, to say that anybody could, then we would have open tryouts, and that would be very, very salary cap friendly. I think just because the people that end up, being at the helm of the offense end up having productivity, I think you can't. I think the way that Tua plays the position is very unique, and that's always triggered me when the people have said anybody can. And then, I think Skyler isn't anybody. He's someone that's diligently worked behind the scenes and right next to Tua for this going on his 3rd year, and his ability to execute anything within the system is to his credit. And we try to do a good job matching what players' talents are to our talents as a football team. And in that, we do have some playmakers. A lot of people have playmakers, and how do you best utilize ours? Well, you have to play it in a certain rhythm and timing that you can only do if you can see defense. And that's a very, very important stipulation, is you are throwing to offensive players, and not everyone, even at the NFL level, is capable of seeing defense.
I've had enough of that already. Once again, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Had it ever occurred to you, Mike McDaniel, that your system just sucks? First of all, I can't even begin to list the contradictions in his statements there yesterday. That's from a press conference before the game 2 days ago, where we were assured that what we saw against Buffalo the last time Skyler was in the game could only have improved because of working behind the scenes. We have got so much to get into, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And make sure you're going to TFTGnetwork.com to check out everything we have there. It's your centralized location for all that is the Fins Tailgate, including links to all our shows, bios, social medias, all that stuff, including the merch store where you can get all the great TFTG merch to represent. I hate losing, people. I really, really hate losing. I hate when a team I support loses. I can't stand it. I live this stuff. What can I say? I'm a fan. But I'm also a human being that's going to pick up and move on and look at the bright side of it in most situations. Because, boy, I tell you what, this job is so much easier to do after witnessing a performance like we saw yesterday from our team. It is so much easier to do this job. It does itself. I mean, I didn't have to do anything this morning, but let people talk. This team has so many problems as an organization, from its owner right down to its janitor. It's like spearing fish in a barrel. I mean, close your eyes and just reach in. Take your choice. Where do y'all want me to start today? How about with that? How about with our system? How about with our scheme? How about with our quarterback? First of all, I don't know where he's talking about Tua has this ability to see anything. The guy admitted himself he can't see over the line. Secondly, what I don't think that Mike McDaniel understands, because, you know, I didn't play the rest of the clip there because it just drags on and you know, talking platitudes about how, you know, the league is this way now and that way now, and you got to do this and that and the other, all of which Tua does none of. None of our quarterbacks do. As we witnessed yesterday, there are levels that are even worse than what we saw on Thursday night with our number one quarterback, who, by the way, looked great yesterday incognito with the hood and sunglasses on. Almost didn't know he was at the stadium. I'm glad we're so comfortable in our own skin. You know what else I didn't notice? I didn't notice an earpiece. I guess the sycophantic media was wrong again about Tua's intentions on doing anything to help win that football game yesterday, unless you count sitting on the bench with your other star, Odell Beckham Jr., who hasn't even taken a snap for us yet. And we're going to sit here. Now, I understand the trolls are coming out this morning. I get it. Some of them are even my friends. So I'm not even going to pay attention to that nonsense. Do your victory laps. Have fun. Walk on Skylar Thompson. I really don't care. That's like when somebody steals somebody's girl, you know, by whispering in her ear. Like, you know, if you think that makes you, you know, whatever, have fun. Make sure you do a couple donuts for me, because I got plenty of problems with the way Skylar Thompson played yesterday. But none of y'all had any evidence whatsoever other than working with training camp garbage that we were going to see that from Skylar yesterday. Now you can say it. Sure. Go ahead. Have fun with it. I can tell you that in about 2 days, that's going to be the last thing on anybody's mind. So run with it. Hope you get the clicks. I really don't give a shit what Skylar Thompson did yesterday. I really don't care. I noticed everybody's nicely and easily sliding on to Tim Boyle now. Let me remind you how many points Tim Boyle put up against us last year when we played the Jets. It's very easy. 0. Let me remind you how many points Tim Boyle put up yesterday. So you can slide right on to Tim Boyle if you want. Act like, oh, really, we got a shot. Tua's going to come back, and because of that, we got a shot. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Tua definitely elevates this offense. I ain't going to argue that. Why he elevates it is a huge, huge problem. Because I don't think it ever occurred to Mike McDaniel that having a guy that is the only one that can run your system means your system sucks, bro. Sorry to tell you. The 49ers have had 4 different people run their system in the last couple seasons before Brock Purdy got permafied on us. Remind you. On you, McDaniel. But before Brock Purdy was there, did all that, they were already making NFC championship games with no matter who they had behind center. And I like the little comment about if we could have open tryouts and that wouldn't be very cap friendly. I like that. That was clever. Did you hear what he just said there? Or did that get by everybody? Oh, we could have open tryouts. Yeah, that would be real cap friendly. That's what he said. Did y'all catch that? Am I the only one that caught that? I love how we can sit here and bash a man for trying to do a job that nobody else seems to want to do. And these people that want to come out here like anything was going to be any different tomorrow, or yesterday, or tomorrow. The last time we even scored 30 points was against the Jets last year. Remember that game? What did I tell you all was going to be the key to crappy Skylar Thompson pulling out this game? What did I tell you all was going to be the key? And I'm sorry. It's so funny how we can sit here and be like, yo, nobody's getting open when Tua can't get the ball to nobody. But now all of a sudden, it's Skylar can't see nobody open. I'm sorry. And you can see it on the body language of Tyreek Hill. It don't matter whether you believe he was getting open or not. We'll see the all 22. But this starts at personnel decisions. This don't even have to do with Tyreek Hill showing up, anybody else showing up. This has to do with personnel decisions that we see every time Tua is out. And you may say, Mike McDaniel may say, well, Culler, it has to be that way because that's the backup package. Well, that sucks. And I'm sure Skyler couldn't pull the trigger and throw it. Yeah, we had a guy like that named Chad Henne at one time. So, okay, guys, Skyler not being able to pull the trigger is the reason our season is completely tanked. You win. Time to shut the show down. Everybody have a great day. See you later. You figured it out. Just kidding. Now, y'all can say whatever you need to say about Skylar Thompson. Yeah, Aqua, they gave Penny a bonus for that throw. See, we want to act like and put these executives and NFL people and ex-crappy quarterbacks, and we want to act like they're all the authority on everything. One of the biggest things y'all that have been following me for a while know that I preach a lot is it's a mistake. It's a fallacy, a logical fallacy to appeal to authority when you're arguing with somebody, when you're debating somebody. It is a logical fallacy. There are roughly 1,600 players in the NFL currently active. And anytime you have that large a number of people, I'm sorry, folks, you have to take a poll. There ain't no such thing as Orlovsky. It knows more ball than me. McDaniel knows more ball than me. That's a logical fallacy. Because when people are putting those people above people like that on totem poles and saying that my eyes don't know what they're looking at, because McDaniel said nobody can run this system but Tua. Tua has a unique skill set that means he's the only one that can run this system. So you built a system exclusively for his unique abilities instead of building a system that could also utilize his unique abilities. Is that what you're telling me, McDaniel? So you think you're smarter than everybody else because you're a head coach of a National Football League team. But I know a lot of people that have been head coaches of National Football League teams. So while everybody put him on a pedestal when he came in the door, and we still, anytime we need to win an argument, we appeal to his authority. Oh, he knows how good Tua is. And he's not a liar, right? Are y'all saying he's a liar? Which is it? Is he a guru? Is he this great human being that we all put on a pedestal when he came in the building? Or is he a liar? Should I play his answer to that question again in the press conference? Should I play that again? You see, that person that everybody appeals to for authority, that person assured me as a fan, a season ticket holder, that that quarterback was ready to play and could execute everything in this system that Tua can. Right after you said that Tua has unique abilities. I don't know how we haven't already gotten news that this man's been fired. It's already past 10 o'clock on Monday, so I doubt it's happening. But I'm baffled how we haven't already gotten news. And that may be true, Shelby, but that's not what Mike McDaniel said and assured us of. Hit the like button, everybody. I appreciate you, Shelby, for coming in the chat this morning. You're the first person I've engaged with, so I'm saying hello properly. And hello to Aquavision, the first one in the chat this morning. Billy Batson, how's it going? Billy says, Culler, that collapse you and TD cried about at 9-3 last year is still going. I mean, bro, here we are. And we're talking about Skylar Thompson. That's right, Billy. We're talking about Skylar Thompson. Good game, bad game, terrible decisions. Yeah, Skylar Thompson. We've figured it out, man. Everything that we've dealt with for the last 30 years, we finally figured out. Dr. Dragon, how's it going? Member of the channel. Kevin Haunts, how you doing? Vince in a pinch, a.k.a. as well as John Featherland. How's it going, guys? Kendrick Lamar. Must be a Seahawks fan. Hey, you got it. Good game. Y'all are on the right track. Dan the man, fan 44. What's up, man? And of course, AP Ryan. Sean from Red, White, and Bills up here in the properly gloat, who has a game tonight against Jacksonville. We got to get behind the boys from Duval because I really think Jacksonville can beat them. I'm going to probably put them on some kind of bet tonight. At least take the points. I had them on my parlay with the points, but Atlanta busted that one last night anyway. We'll talk about that. I didn't do well betting, but a couple of the teams that I told y'all about, and some of those takes really were spot on. We'll talk about that coming up. Aaron Jones, how you going? How you doing? Aaron Jones, man, great game yesterday in Minnesota. That was a heck of a performance. What's up, Marino's goat? So everybody shout out to Aaron Jones in chat. Totally destroyed yesterday on the field. Lager Hop, how's it going? Look, I'm going to call it out, man. I don't know why. What's up, Deuce Goose? I don't know why Like, I still can't understand the personnel decisions for that game. We didn't even see Jonnu Hill until what, the third quarter? I don't even think Durham Smythe was in the game till late in the second. Mike McDaniel once again threw this game away. He threw this game away. I'm not saying he threw the game. I'm saying he threw the game away. These offensive players just will not play for anybody but Tua. And half the time they won't even do that. This guy has such a stranglehold over the minds of our organization, our players on offense, and half our fan base. It's absolutely stunning. Oh, what's up, Marketeer? That's formerly Bishop 13. All right, I'll keep that in mind. You might have to remind me again a couple of days from now. I'm kind of bad about that, but I'll definitely keep that in mind. D-Rod, what's up? I saw CB80 Who in chat somewhere. Dan the man, I mean, you're spot on, and I'm tired of not being able to say it anymore. You know what? Our team is so bad right now. This is why my job is easier. Because I can say it is so easy to list our problems, last of which being Skylar Thompson, that we can sit here and point it out, call it for what it is. Listen to what Mike McDaniel said in that presser. He gets triggered. So why is it so odd for me to think that he's the type of guy that would do something to prove a point that is contrary to what the fans' desires are as far as winning goes? Like, think about it, people. It's not crazy. These are millionaires. They go home. They're like, imagine yourself with their kind of money. It takes a lot to really put your will into something when you have that kind of money. You have to really, truly care about it. And I'm not saying millionaires don't care about things, but the things that they really actually like on the hobbies that they succeed at or whatever, they have to really, really care about it. We as fans that are not millionaires, that are half of us are poor, it brightens our day when our team wins or at least plays respectably. That's all we have. We spend our hard-earned money to help keep it going. That's all we have. And people shit on us and say, "Oh well, you know, there's more to life. You should get out and touch grass." You know what? So should these millionaires. They're the ones that get paid millions to put the performance down on the field we saw yesterday. McDaniel's the one that gets paid millions to tell me that he only has one system. And if you can't understand it, you're a terrible quarterback and you never get a shot. Oh, but this guy understands it. He can't run it. He can't actually do it on the field, but he understands it. And it's in the understanding that we feel success, I guess. I'm not dumb. I understand even maybe possibly some personnel differences with your backup quarterback coming in. I could even understand some of that. But to have a complete subsystem, sub scheme, whatever you want to call it, whole different personnel package to the point where the language is even different. See, that's what's going on here. Right? If I'm not to blame it on maliciousness, if I'm not going to sit here and be a conspiracy theorist and say, oh, McDaniel's just trying to continue to make it look like Tua is the only one that can do this thing, or that Tua elevates this team. Well, McDaniel, you proved a point. You proved a point. Tua, as I said to start this monologue, Tua does elevate this team. He does. But I'm not sure that that's the own that you think it is. Because what I see the issue is, and call me dumb, call me not as wise as you because you're a head football coach of an NFL team. I get it. Appeal to authority. I understand. But riddle me this, Batman. What why wouldn't Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Durham Smythe, Jonnu Hill, all these people, except for Waddle, because he was in right away. But all these players that we could obviously see were on a snap count, on a pitch count to start the game, because we're taking deep shots to Tanner Connor. That tells me that those players cannot function in Skyler's system. So you can say that another quarterback can't function in your system, in Tua's system, whatever you want to say. But it seems to me that the other players can't function outside of whatever language you've created for Tua. And that's why you're putting in these other guys when Skyler's in the game, because you created a whole nother sub language for Skyler in the second group. Am I right? That's a logical take. I could be completely wrong. I'm baffled at how, on one token, you could say this guy's ready. On the other token, we see what we saw out of Skyler yesterday. And on the other token, you saying that, it's because only Tua can run it. Well, what the hell is Skyler doing on our team? Salary cap, you say? Oh, that's still on you. So we're going to sit here and talk about, we have Skyler Thompson, first because I believe in him, and secondly because he's the best one to believe in given the salary cap constraints. Do I need to pick up the picture? Do I need to show the picture of Odell Beckham Jr. on the sideline yesterday? Do I really need to do that? Do I really need to remind everybody that we had no reason whatsoever to compel us to re-sign Tua? Need I remind everybody that we've got $30-some million sitting on the bench with a concussion? And they're going to tell me that they couldn't produce a better quarterback than we saw Thursday night against Buffalo? Yeah, we get it. Skyler's trash. He was not able to replicate even close to what he did against Buffalo. That's all true. I was wrong for, looking at his performance against Buffalo and thinking that could be improved upon. I was wrong for thinking that. I'm sorry. Take my fan card away. Call me stupid. Tell everybody in the world that Culler don't know anything of what he's talking about. Try to diminish my viewership. I get it. I understand the whole game. Been doing it now for 3 years. Okay, I get the whole social media and YouTube game, and I get the whole Twitter kindergarten cafeteria game. I get all that. So, to all the people that don't want to fire Greer, that don't want to fire McDaniel, that don't want to move off of Tua, that don't want to get a better backup, to all of those people, oh, you're right, Billy. That's a good statement right there. I'll pull it up in a second. But everybody that from all those different sides, some of them are on all sides of those. What do we do now? Do tell. Get on Twitter. Tell everybody you want to tank. Tell the organization you're perfectly fine with tanking. Go ahead. Get all over Twitter and tell us what we should do. Should we get rid of all the players that don't want to show up? Should we, I don't know, get rid of every player that had a sweater on yesterday on the sideline? Should we draft another project college quarterback? Should we petition the league to force Stephen Ross to sell the team? I mean, all of this stuff has been suggested. Everything except for, well, I know there's a couple people that have actually said this. Credit to them. They know who they are. But everything but the players got to step up and play. See, I understand Skyler was trash yesterday. I don't have a problem saying that. But I don't need to use that to excuse anything we saw in our secondary yesterday, much less the personnel decisions of who we had running around there in the first and second quarters. I don't think Jonnu Smith had one target until the third quarter. I don't know how many times Julian Hill can get blown up and false start before you pull him out of the game. What he's even doing in the game, I don't know. Oh, he must know Skyler's language. He must be one of the ones that knows Skyler's language. That's it. So I may not know what Mike McDaniel knows about his idea and his ideas and concepts and all that and who's good at doing what. All I know is the guys you've brought in so far to run your system suck, bro. So if this is the system you created for quarterbacks that suck, well, good for you. It sucks. We haven't had a respectable performance since Washington last year. Well, or you could say the Jets. But are we really going to talk about beating the Jets and shutting them out when they had Tim Boyle? Because we got Tim Boyle now. So I mean, where to from here? Does anybody want to win anymore? Do we want to try to save this season, or should Culler talk about, even though it's a long shot, how we could save this season, or am I wasting my breath because everybody's already ready to quit? Well, what I said was before the game was we're going to find out from coaches, organization, and players whether they want to continue to salvage this season. And they answered us yesterday. They answered us loud and clear yesterday. Loud and clear. And Jermaine, you're spot on. And that's what the players told us yesterday, is that's what they wanted to do. Because 2-5 would have been manageable. Not that I believe in to have us come back from even 2-5. But obviously, if McDaniel is only going to be average when 2 is in the game, then we need 2 in the game. Somebody said something last night that really struck me. It was brilliant. I'm going to get a cup of coffee, so I'm going to change my background here. Look at that steam coming off the coffee. Everybody hit the like button. Right now, stop what you're doing, hit the like button. Oh, and by the way, I did start a poll before the show started. We have a total of 94 votes already. Good job, guys. Y'all are hitting the poll. Keep hitting it. I'm going to keep it running. Should. Keyword should. Not will. Not can they. Not would. Should Mike McDaniel be fired immediately? 94% have voted. 94 people have voted. 99 now. Keep them coming. 102. All right, they're rolling in. 57% of those who have voted said yes. 36% said no. And of course, there's always the 8% that feed into the joke. 8% says Tua should be the head coach. Well, at least they're standing on business. You know what I mean? At least they're standing on business. So that means that 55 plus 7, that would be 62% of the people think Mike McDaniel should be fired immediately. Exactly, Miami kid. First of all, why is that not Durham Smythe or Jonnu Smith? Right? Secondly, why is it not Tyreek Hill? When Tua's in the game, that deep shot right there is to Tyreek Hill. Is it not? I'm just saying. See, y'all think I'm, not you, Miami kid, but people think I'm crazy for thinking that Mike McDaniel throws away these games. Yet, we're watching Tanner Connor on a deep post, something he's never done. We've never seen him do that. Ever. And somehow it's because he's got some special connection with Skylar Thompson. See, that's McDaniel's problem. That's everybody's problem. We overthink it and overthought it to the point where, yeah, Skylar ends up being trash because you don't just do what needs to be done to help the guy. You're on this mission to prove that Tua can run this system better than anybody else. Well, you proved it, McDaniel. And I'm here to tell you that system sucks. It's a loser. You got me. You win. You're right. You know more ball than me. I'm a lowly old little fan that don't have nothing but dubs and L's to go by. So I'm here to tell you whatever I saw yesterday sucks ass. I don't care if it's the system. I don't care if it's the quarterback. I don't care what it is. It's absolute garbage. It was garbage last Thursday night. It was garbage against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay? It was garbage against the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs last year. It was garbage when we lost 56-19 against the Baltimore Ravens. It was garbage when we couldn't pick up one damn first down to close out the game against Tennessee. It was garbage against the Chiefs in Germany. It was garbage against the Philadelphia Eagles. And even in the games we won, a lot of them, it was garbage in the first couple quarters of those games, a la the Giants and the Panthers. It was garbage against the Raiders that we barely beat. Need I continue? Or are we just going to continue to act like it's all everybody else's fault? It's all everybody else's fault. It's our crappy offensive line. Bullshit. It's our 10th string quarterback. Bullshit. It's our running game. Bullshit. My favorite. It's these fans that don't like Tua. Bullshit. I can't believe I've gone on for 51 minutes. I had lots of stuff planned for this show, but I can't stop. And I'm not going to stop. They don't pay me to say what they want me to say. What's up, Sky? What's up, Back It Up, Binge? How you doing? Oh, let me add Durham Smythe to the list of excuses. So I got people after 3 games coming to me. What's Durham Smythe's catch rate now, Culler? I don't know. I didn't realize you were hoping it was that bad. So because of what because I told you all what he's already put down on paper, that makes me somehow guilty of and be like ridiculed for what? You want me to what? You would really want me to show you Durham Smythe's catch rate right now? Or are you just being an asshole? I don't care. You're entitled to be an asshole. What's up, Crypto? I have to get Crypto's show created too. He's going to be going live around 2 or 3 o'clock today to decode this whole mess. That's why we got Crypto around here. He's our decoder. Man, I wanted to tell you all something that somebody said last night that was perfect, and I can't remember what it was now. It'll come back. I went out on a tangent for a minute. What's up, 310 Mike? See, 310 Mike, we say the East and West plays are so annoying, and they are. But again, this is the point I'm trying to make. That is the nature of a West Coast system. This is precisely what Chris Greer wanted to bring here. We saw what the Rams and the Niners are doing out there. How, we can just set up this conveyor belt of great players, and that'll make them a team, and we'll run a West Coast, and this is how it'll make Tua look good because it made Joe Montana certainly a Hall of Famer, and all these other guys with weak arms, and can't read the field and whatever else. Oh, it's a timing system. Why do you think all that timing and all that other stuff exists? It's designed to make the quarterback not have to think. You're right, Lou. It's literally designed for the coach to be able to play the game through his quarterback. That's what the West Coast is. And I'm here to tell you, Mike McDaniel sucks at Madden. I would never give him a Madden controller, first of all. Look, everybody knows I'm not the biggest fan of Tua, and I don't believe in the guy. but I can tell you how to win with him. And Mike McDaniel does none of those things. At least not against the teams that matter, not against the teams that punch us in the mouth. He does none of the things that we need to do to win with a guy like Tua. See, that's where people get me wrong. I actually do believe we can win with Tua. But I also believed that we could win with Skyler yesterday. I believed we could beat the Bills Thursday night. But we're not doing the things. Mike McDaniel is not implementing the things, the keys that we need to implement to win these games. With Tua, with Skyler, with anybody else we stick in there. This idea that you couldn't have went and gotten another quarterback to quote unquote run this system. Well, again, this is the word games that McDaniel plays. Can anybody come in here and be Tua? Can anybody come in here and run the system like Tua? No. We know that. We don't need somebody to come in here and run this system like Tua. If you want this system to be run like Tua runs it, we need Tua to do that. But in your own words, McDaniel, what do I know? Hit the like button, everybody. So last night we had a total of 13 first downs. I don't even need to go through this. We know it sucked. We had 205 total yards. Skyler looked like absolute garbage. The guy can't even, you're throwing a Hail Mary, dude. The end zone ain't going to look any better than it looked. There's one thing to do on a Hail Mary. There's nothing else to read. I don't need to tell him that. What we need to figure out is why the hell we're so desperate before the half that we're having to throw a Hail Mary. No, Lou, they reported it as a chest injury, and now I guess a rib injury. But he did hit his head pretty hard on that first sack. I'm amazed that we're not just saying that we're going back and saying the whole entire game was because he got smacked in the head late in the game. That's a lie, Carla. That's an outright lie. I'm not saying you're lying. I'm saying that the information that has been provided to you is a lie. Yeah, those holding penalties came from people like replacements. I think Liam might have had one. That might have been a false start. I can't remember. We could do the deep dive on penalties on the offensive line if you like, but I just don't see the point. Boyle looks smooth and calm because Boyle is actually a seasoned veteran, regardless of whether he sucks or not. Boyle is stable. We needed stability. We don't need the erraticness of Skyler or Tua. We need stability. That's why it looked like that. Besides the fact that it was junk time by then. And let's be real. the Seahawks needed a rest too. Yeah, Hill's the tight end. Carla. I know part of the offensive line, but we don't think of it that way. I tried that already. Everybody all yelled at me for it, Carla. I think the tight end should be considered part of the offensive line as well. But I'm going to squash the narrative right now about our offensive line being the issue. Now, I'm not saying that we don't have plenty of goofy looking plays where we get beat horridly, but y'all have to remember that our offense is designed a specific way that only nerds can coach and only Tua can run. So, you know, our offensive line is going to look certain ways that others don't when they get beat. It's the type of system that's like when your offensive line gets beat, it's like horrendous because the way you beat the West Coast is by literally blowing up the offensive line. That's how you beat it. You disrupt all that timing and it looks like kid shit when the defense is done with it. Wouldn't you all agree that yesterday looked like kid shit? Because it is kid shit. It's designed to take all of the mental part of the game out of it. Like, there's the one, or focus the mental part. I think I missed this. Did I miss a super chat earlier? I think I did. Yes, I did. I'm so sorry. Mateo with the $2 donation earlier as the show was just starting to heat up. Says 10 days off and we get this BS performance. Yeah. There's absolutely no excuse. We can sit here and rail on Skyler all day. I hope y'all have fun doing it. I hope it feels good to be able to rail on a quarterback since we've been so starved of being able to rail on a quarterback. I get it. I understand why people are doing it because you're afraid to rail on Tua. Admit it. That's right. That's what I just said. The people railing on Skyler today, they're doing it because they want a quarterback to rail on. And they're too afraid to do it to Tua. You can keep spouting off, everybody can keep spouting off these weak arguments about Tua that we've had for the last 3 years, but they don't work anymore. So continue to rail on Skyler. I know it feels good. That's fine. We all know why y'all are doing it. And thank you, Roberto Valdez, also with a $5 donation, says we have consistently shown we can't play regular football under McDaniel. Tua is injured and the smoke and mirror can't be run with a backup. It's disaster. That's precisely what I'm trying to say, Roberto. There's no reason to not be able to have your main people in because of a language difference in your offense that now all of a sudden, it's not just that you have a backup in, it's that you have a backup system in. You're right, Carla. Comeback routes and allowing receivers to sit down in the zone. In case you forgot, Trent Sherfield literally reported to everybody when he got to Buffalo that we do not practice that stuff. I mean, they literally admitted it. You didn't have anybody from the organization coming out saying that was bullshit. They're like, well, throw the ball. To who? I understand there was guys open in the beginning of their routes and he probably missed them and all that, but that's not his game. McDaniel, by playing Skyler that way, first of all, is ruining him. Secondly, is putting a square peg in a round hole. And that's the thing, Vaughn954. Shout out to Vaughn Green, man. Been a while since I seen you in chat, man. I'm still diligently following your fledgling career on Twitter, man. Shout out to you. Vaughn954 says McDaniel should be on probation. I really wonder what his conversations with Stephen Ross are like right now. I as well. And see, that the thing of that is, Vaughn954, Stephen Ross ain't known to put nobody on probation. That's why I'm like, man, what kind of news should we expect here in the next few hours? Because if anything is going to happen like that, it's going to be total firing. It ain't going to be no probation. That's not ever been Stephen Ross's MO. And if you think he wouldn't do it after the third game of the season, I'd remind you of Joe Philbin. Yeah, I know, Carla. Skyler said it, and as I played at the beginning of the show, McDaniel said it. I mean, who are we supposed to trust if we're going to appeal to McDaniel's authority? If he's going to wag his finger at us and say, "But what do I know?" Well, he's got to own that. He's the one that said he had a contingency plan for the 1% chance that our kicker goes down. Yet we just saw what we saw yesterday from Skylar Thompson. Are you going to tell me that even if his percentage of Tua getting injured again was only 20, you're going to tell me he had more of a contingency plan by sticking with Dan Bailey in case our kicker got hurt than bringing in a guy that could actually win you some ball games if Tua gets hurt? And if you don't think that guy existed, now we're going to get into yesterday's results league-wide. And I just want to run through the scoreboard for everybody. In case you missed the action yesterday, now, the Giants come out of nowhere to beat the Browns, the hapless Browns, who are just on a complete nosedive at quarterback and everything, losing to the Giants 21-15. The Packers, with their backup quarterback, who got run out of Tennessee, beating Tennessee 30-14 in Tennessee. The Bears dropping, of course, to the Colts 21-16. Continued expectations on Caleb Williams seem to be too high. And of course, we all saw another guy that sees ghosts. Well, Justin Jefferson must be a ghost because they just put a hurting on the Texans 34-7, bringing C.J. Stroud back down to earth a little bit. Finally. And that would be your our former beloved Miami head coach, now estranged Brian Flores on defense out there. Good job. I got a little tidbit on one of their linebackers we're going to get to here in a second. Eagles battle the Saints in a snooze fest, low-scoring affair. End up pulling it out 15-12, scoring all 15 points in the fourth quarter. Chargers losing Justin Herbert later in the game, end up dropping to the Steelers 20-10. Broncos smacking Baker around a little bit, 26-7, beating the Buccaneers. Of course, we saw the Seahawks take care of us in Seattle, 24-3. Ravens got a much-needed win, big-time win. Probably just saved their season with that win by defeating the Cowboys, 28-25, while giving up 19 points to the Cowboys in the fourth quarter, but still hanging on to keep the 3-point victory. Rams put it all together with a decimated team. Cooper Kupp out. Everybody else out. Stafford in trade talks. Trade rumors. And they defeat the 49ers, the Super Bowl runner-ups, 27-24. In a fourth quarter that saw them score 13 points to come back and win it. Cardinals dropped to the Lions. Lions defense showing they can keep Kyler Murray piped down and out of the end zone. And of course, last night, Falcons can't get a couple yards to get a first down and extend a comeback drive and drop to the Chiefs 22-17. Chiefs continue to roll. Kelsey seems to have lost all his power since he shaved his beard. But you might have noticed I left a game out. Can you all guess what game that is? See if anybody's actually paying attention. While you're doing that, while we're waiting for some answers to come in, make sure you're hitting the poll. Should McDaniel be fired immediately? 151 have voted. 51% now say yes, 38% say no, and 11% say Tua should be head coach. Some more people getting in on the game, on the gag answer. I mentioned Giants and Browns. Well, the Pats were on Thursday night. Good guess, though, Deuce. I'll go ahead and give it up. The Panthers absolutely destroyed the Raiders yesterday. The worst team in the league 5 days ago. The worst team in the league just took out Gardner Minshew and one of the up-and-coming darlings of the NFL, the Las Vegas Raiders. $36-22. It was 27-7 going in to the fourth quarter. Now, they had weapons. They had pieces. They had, I think, Chuba Hubbard and Adam Thielen and they had weapons. But they said, you know what? We're not going to do this song and dance. We're not the Miami Dolphins. F this. They benched Bryce Young and brought in Andy Dalton. Now, for any of you that watch me on League Wide Wednesday, co-hosting with Miss Finns, great show, by the way. I love doing it. And for any of you that haven't heard my takes after, throughout last week and the couple bets that I had made, you would know that I told you all I was screaming at the top of my lungs to tell people to take the points with the Panthers. I got them at 5.5. I thought to myself, self, the Raiders are just the Raiders. Yeah, they're up and coming. They're decent, but they're just the Raiders. And I look at the Carolina Panthers, who built their team with the expectation of actually doing something, and their quarterback failed them. Now they get a guy in that's going to at least provide them what I was trying to tell Carla earlier: stability. Quarterback stability. Just go out there, run the plays, get the ball to your playmakers, and win the game. Don't overthink it. Don't galaxy brain it. None of that. Now I vehemently said take the points because I did not see a blowout happening with Andy Dalton at the helm of that team. There's no way I thought there was no way they were going to lose by more than 4. Like it was going to, they're probably going to lose, but it's going to be a lot more competitive with Andy Dalton at the helm. And I even said I used the same information for another take to say, you know what, just take them on the money line and pick them outright to win. Not only did they cover the 5.5, not only did they win, but they absolutely dog walked the Raiders yesterday, simply because of Andy Dalton. Is Andy Dalton Tom Brady? Is Andy Dalton Patrick Mahomes? Do they have a shot at beating Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl? Probably not. But goddamn, I bet it's a lot nicer being a Panthers fan this morning than it is a Dolphins fan. Wouldn't you agree? So spare me, McDaniel, the what do I know tongue-in-cheek comments. We pay your salary. Ross don't have the millions of dollars he has to pay you without us getting robbed on Sunday the way they've been robbing us. So, yo, how about you getting us a dub? And then you can talk. How about you find a way to motivate your squad to play for somebody besides Tua? Because guess what? There ain't no guarantee he's coming back. So I don't even know how you're functioning on this level of still trying to compare everything to Tua. It's over. And even if Tua comes back and plays, whatever you've been doing is over. It don't work. Throw it out the window. Start from scratch. I don't care if it's Tua. Well, I don't know. Maybe Andy Dalton could do it. I don't know. Before the game started yesterday, I'm going to pull this up so y'all can see it, so you don't think I'm making stuff up, since a lot of you want to talk stats and throw numbers out there like, you know, and we're all supposed to just take it for granted, right? I'm going to show you all this so you can see for yourselves. And if you don't like it, if you disagree with it, or you think that somebody's lying, then you go to this website, okay, profootballreference.com. You go down at the bottom There's a data provided by Sport Trader. And look, this says copyright Sports Reference LLC. That's the name of the company. You can see their contributors and source page, all of that. And then look down here. Where is it? Oh, they don't. Oh, I thought maybe they had a contact link. But I'm pretty sure this is an email address. Look, you can go right to them and tell them. This is last updated Monday, September 23rd, 6:41. Now, this week's stats won't be fully updated and guaranteed and certified until tomorrow at 6 p.m. But the stats I'm looking at were from last week. That's what we're looking at right here. This is the pressure rate of every quarterback in the league. And you can see that I've adjusted it to show you a downward ranking. In other words, the number one quarterback has the highest amount of pressure. Okay? And sitting at the top of the list, unironically, is Deshaun Watson with 39.4%. Do you realize that is almost, that's about 1 every 2.5 dropbacks he's under pressure. Pressured 37 times. And as you can see, it goes down from there. 36% to Jacoby Brissett, 31 to Daniel Jones, 31 to Matt Stafford. And the only one that is overcoming that is Brock Purdy and CJ Stroud and Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, these guys. But you got the guys with the highest all happen to be the worst quarterbacks that everybody talks about. Daniel Jones, Jacoby Brissett, Deshaun Watson. But somehow only our guys get the excuse. Only Tua gets the excuse for a bad offensive line and being under pressure all the time and having to get the ball out quick. Now, the one that strikes me as very, very interesting, and this is the one that absolutely destroys this narrative about Tua masking by getting the ball out quicker. Okay? This is what's going to destroy that narrative right here, in case you guys haven't already realized it. Okay? Matter of fact, I heard somebody already repeating the nonsense I'm seeing on Twitter this morning that that yesterday's game proved how important Tua is and how he masks all of our problems. All of our problems. That's the narrative going around on Twitter today. In case y'all didn't know. I mean, you can't make this up. So I'm here this morning to destroy that narrative right now. The last time I checked, Michael K., you guys blitzed us 0 times. I'll check again, but it was after Tuesday last week that I looked, and it had already been updated. So, but that doesn't mean that their server wasn't having problems. So I promised the audience last week that I would double check to make sure it didn't update differently. But at that time, it showed that y'all blitzed us 0 times. And it's never been shy in saying that you've blitzed us a lot before. In the one of our meetings, you blitzed us 13 times a season or two ago. So you guys bring it to us whichever way it needs to be brought. It seems like sometimes you blitz us none, and sometimes you blitz us 13 times. It just depends on where, when, what, who's healthy on our team, who's healthy on yours. So you guys know how to adjust to those things. Oh, that's probably why it showed 0, Mike, because neither one of them were against Tua. That's right. Because when I look at the pressure rate and all that, I'm looking at the quarterback, not the offensive line itself. So anybody that wants to say, well, the offensive line, it looks bad because you're not counting the Skyler time from last week. Well, that's okay because it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Like, it's not like y'all really wanted Skyler protected, so spare me. Anyway, in case y'all haven't noticed the narrative destroyer, actually there's 2 of them right there. 3 of them right there. You don't see it? 4 of them. Well, not 4 of them because he sucks. I think Lewis knows what I'm referring to. I don't see him in chat anymore. Lewis knows what I'm referring to. Do you see this here? Geno Smith, the guy we played yesterday and lost to. The guy with the highest accuracy rate in the league. Like all of last year until the end. .6% pressure rate. That means nearly 1 out of every 3 dropbacks, close to every 1/3. Oh, it's like 1 in 3.5 almost dropbacks. He gets pressured. And his pocket time is 2.1 seconds. Now, if you told me, damn, Geno Smith's under so much pressure, he has to get the ball out so quick, and that's why he has a 2.1 second pocket time, I would say, wow, that's very smart of you. That's a good correlation to make. It may not be true, but it's a good correlation to make. 27.6% pressure rate. Damn, that's high. 2.1 second pocket time. Makes sense to me, right? Baker Mayfield, a guy on the plus side of 500 right now. With no weapons. 27.4% pressure rate. 1.9 second pocket time. That has to be the lowest. It is. 1.9 second pocket time for Baker Mayfield with a 27.4% pocket pressure rate. Patrick Mahomes, 24.6% pressure rate. That's a quarter of the time. 1 out of every 4 dropbacks, he's getting pressured. 2.1 second pocket time. CJ Stroud, 28.6% pressure rate. 2.3 second pocket time. Now you get down to the bottom of the list. Well, Culler, why, might you say? Are we at the bottom of the list? The absolute bottom. Out of 32 starting quarterbacks after the first 2 games of the season, Tua is 32nd in pressure rate. That means he enjoys the lowest pressure rate in the entire NFL out of the 32 starting quarterbacks. And his pocket time is 2.1 seconds. I'm sorry, McDaniel. Your system sucks. It doesn't win consistently. I'm really finding it hard to understand how all of our problems in the world can be attributed to our offensive line when Tua is enjoying the lowest pressure rate in the NFL, the lowest in his career. Might I remind you, 11%, 11.5%. That is the lowest in his entire career in a 2-game sample size. That's because Tua throws the ball in a nanosecond. See, it's right there. What I'm saying, Kevin, is he doesn't have to. I've been saying it for 3 years. Oh, I know, Jose, I'm looking at the data wrong. Do tell. Fire up a show and tell us all how I'm looking at the data wrong. Is it because I'm not looking at PFF's individual pass blocking grades? Is that why I'm looking at it wrong? Because Mike McDaniel just got through basically telling us all that nobody understands what he's got going on. So how can a statistician accurately calculate the pass block win rates of the offensive linemen when they don't understand what Mike McDaniel is having the offensive linemen do? Answer that one. Answer that logic riddle. Anybody that can. Yeah, I know. PFF is the one, Mike, that gives out the pass blocking grades. However they grade it. I don't know. You know, again, if Mike McDaniel's out there telling us all nobody understands his shit, then how are the statisticians understanding it? You know, if Mike McDaniel has a play that is designed to have a certain guy release his block and move to another level, is that seen as a blown block? Is that tallied by the idiot at PFF? Hey, that's a miss. We don't know. I do know this. See, Pro Football Reference tells you how they factor pressure. And it simply says, times the quarterback was pressured. That's hurries plus hits plus times sacked. Not how many times did this offensive lineman on the other side of the play that has nothing to do with the play, how many times did he give up his block or look like a goofball or whatever they factor? No, this is how many times the quarterback was hurried plus hit plus sacked. And they even individualize them so you can see which ones the pressures are. So this is right here, for example, with Geno Smith, 21 pressures, 8 hits, 8 hurries, and 5 sacks. That totals 21 pressures. They don't sit here and say, oh, how did the offensive line grade out? This is your results, people. It don't matter what they looked like doing it. It doesn't matter all of that other stuff. What I want to know is, okay, at 11.5%, if I were to round down to make it easier for you to understand, okay, the pressure rate is 11.6%, roughly 10%. Okay? It doesn't matter what all the other grades say. What this tells me is Tua drops back to throw 10 times. Right? He is under pressure once. That's what that's saying. Did I go to a different school than everybody else?
Culler, that's 1 out of every 10 times. That's
so what
like
it's saying is once out of every 10 times he drops back to throw, once he is either hurried, hit, or sacked. Once out of every 10 times he drops back to throw. So my question is not why the offensive line gave up that pressure. My question is, what the hell are we doing on the other 9 dropbacks that we can't put up more than 7 points? Simple question. It's not how many times did he drop back, including handing off the ball. No, out of 10 dropbacks to throw, he's pressured once. I don't want an answer for that one.
That's what?
I want an answer
maybe 4 times
for the
a game,
9.
Culler? That's what, 3 or 4 times a game? Average throw to 30 to 40 passes a game. That's 3 or 4 times a game. You couldn't ask for any better than that.
I was asking this question when his pressure rate was 20%. That's 1 out of every 5 dropbacks. What are we doing on the other 4?
Crazy enough, they cut that in half, which literally seems impossible. It's funny because I'm sitting here paying attention this master class that Culler is doing right now. Everybody needs to hit the like button because Culler is cooking. He's putting on a master class of facts. I know there's a lot of people that want to go out here and talk about how they feel while Culler's bringing facts. And I know we hear about this all the time. Facts don't care about your feelings, and neither does Culler commentary because he's bringing them loaded to bear. So hit the like button, please, if you guys haven't. The problem is, Culler, is, to me, right, in the beginning, the Dolphins were so inept on offense with, just plays. It was just a vanilla offense that if the pass wasn't there, the play was pretty much dead, right? And they had only so many plays they could call. Mike McDaniel comes in. He's got the green notebook. You know what I'm saying? He's like the coach from the Mud Dogs and Waterboy. He's got this green notebook. He's got all these great ideas. Well, now here we are 3 years later, and it's the same ideas. It's the same little wrinkles in the offense. In fact, he doesn't even do a lot of that pre-snap motion like he did, and no one's biting the cheese either. It's it makes me question. is Mike McDaniel a genius, or is he a guy that knows this system up to this point, right? Because there's other wrinkles in this system that he's obviously not utilizing. We're not pushing the ball down the field other than dialing it up. And honestly, I got to wonder, is Tua the reason that we are taking these shots downfield? Is he reading that pre-snap and saying something? I know they said that. Is he reading that pre-snap, seeing soft coverage with single high safety offset from Tyreek and looks at Tyreek, and Tyreek goes, all right, I'm going to go deep on this one? Because I would imagine that Mike McDaniel just has everything going east and west. He's going to outthink it. And Culler, you said something the other day that I got to say, and you've been saying it. That's just it perfectly yesterday's game pointed it out. Mike McDaniel doesn't care what the defense is doing. He's convicted that the offense will dictate what the defense is doing. He has no counterpunch, Color. I sat here and I talked about this with Brandon the bookie yesterday when I left in the middle of the barn burner we had last night, and I was talking to him and I'm like, this team, if we can't utilize our speed on the outsides to run away from people, we've got nothing else. And even when we do, like HN or whatever, he can't help himself. He's like, okay, we got a nice run up the middle. Let's go and see if I can catch him slipping with the speed to the outside. And teams are now dialing up. They're going to say, I am not going to let the Miami Dolphins beat me deep, which they rarely do. So I'm going to make certain that they're not going to beat me to the outsides with their speed. And this is just coaching football 101. When you're on defense and you have a team that has speed, you know that, as a cornerback, we'll just say, that's Tyreek Hill. You don't possess the speed to beat Tyreek Hill. So you make sure to route and redirect this guy inside the play where you have help from safeties, linebackers, whatever. And that's what the Dolphins can't seem to get away from. They can't seem to just, I don't know, man. Mike McDaniel looks like he's lost,
The
Color.
early numbers on Skyler's line on Pro Football Reference are showing 20% pressure rate yesterday.
Still not that bad. And let's not act like Skyler didn't sit there holding the ball way too long either.
Oh, of course not. Again, we can sit here and trash Skyler if that's what everybody wants to do. I mean, I'm all for it.
But
You know what I
Color,
mean?
it's a 7th round draft pick. What are we really trashing? A guy that was never
But
supposed to
again,
make it?
as I played to open the show, it was McDaniel that stood behind him. So now all of a sudden we can't appeal to that authority anymore, right?
It's ridiculous, man.
And of course, the wagging his finger at us about what we think about anybody being able to run this system, splitting hairs and using semantics as if we're saying somebody else could do what Tua does. Like, no, Tua's Tua. Skyler's.
What Tua does with his quick release and getting in the flow and that timing that he has, that's the elite thing he possesses. And we knew this when we drafted him. We knew that this was it's kind of why when Brian Flores was here and we saw what they were trying to do on offense, we were like, why aren't we doing, more RPO play action? And then they did, and he was more successful in his sophomore year with it, right?
It seems like he has a two-dimensional understanding of the concepts of football. Like when he's explaining to us about throwing to the receiver open, throwing to an open window because of the level of defense in the NFL and all that, it's like, bro, does he think he's the first one that's ever watched football?
I don't know.
He's conflating these. He sounds like a fan on Twitter arguing this shit. Like, throw to an open spot. in the defense. Why? You don't practice any comeback drills. There's going to be nobody sitting down in that zone. He's talking about, oh, I had to design this system so that, oh, the receiver's going to be there, quarterback. Just trust it and throw it. Okay.
Oh, let's not forget that it was press coverage and he got rerouted and that threw the timing off of everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Don't recognize those intricacies.
It's like he's picking up the two-dimensional argument that fans are having between spot throwing and, you know, and all that. It's like he's picking up the same argument. It's like, bro, I would have been, if I was McDaniel, I would have been correcting both sides if I'm the smartest guy in the room.
And East and West, you know, offense like we're running right now with all this timing bullshit. One thing that consistently destroys that is a good front seven, right? If they can get pressure with 4 and linebackers can get wide and play all over in the box, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. And if you go back last year and watch the Dolphins-Ravens game, the Ravens wrote the book defensively on how to beat Mike McDaniel's offense. And everybody since then has maneuvered their defense in a way to copy it. From the Titans on down. From that point on down, this offense since the Ravens game is it's got to be with the last game from yesterday, it's got to be averaging like 8 points a game. 9 points a game. Going back to last year. How is that? Where was the pivot this offseason? It wasn't a pivot. It was a double down.
Mm-hmm.
He's doubled down on this.
We'll try to scheme to make it look like he's going off script. That's what it was about, dude.
Yeah, you're right. That, hey, I want you to look at this guy, but that's not who we're really going to.
Right,
it's going to the next guy.
Well,
by looking this way.
If people want Tua to throw to the third wide receiver, we'll just make Tyreek the third wide receiver.
Yep. We're gonna have you look, throw. It's Mike McDaniel is performing a ballet. That's what he's doing. And the problem with the performance in a ballet is that some defenders are going to be smart and they're not going to chase. They're going to sit at home. And if they do, they're sitting in your way.
He's trying to make us beg for Tua to come back, bro. That's what he's trying to do. It's the same script again and again when Tua goes out. He's trying to get the haters to beg for Tua to come back.
I'm sorry, but listen,
by making it look so bad without him that we're like, oh, he had to be. Listen to Batman already on Twitter. Tua's the reason.
I don't know who Batman is, so I don't know who that guy is. But I will say this, right?
Well, I only mentioned his name because I'm talking to you. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter who it is, really.
I know. There are those people that, again, everyone was off to ready to tell him to retire. Now Dolphin fans are like, we can't have him retire because we can't do nothing without him. And the facts of the matter remain is that we weren't doing much with him, right? What were we doing? Beating the dog shit out of fucking bad teams. I'm sorry for swearing on the morning show, but beating the crap out of bad teams.
I've blown it with everything but the F word so far, so we're good, man.
Beating the crap out of bad teams. And I'm sorry, but I don't have full confidence in a quarterback that, Culler, you said it earlier when you were talking about Andy Dalton. You said consistency.
And stability.
And stability, that's the word it was. What stability? Tua, with his injury history, does not bring stability to my quarterback room. It doesn't. It doesn't bring stability. And it doesn't give me confidence that, you know, if we get into the playoffs, that we're going to have success with that type of, I mean, if you think Tua isn't got it in his head that I can't let myself get hit and that's going to not affect his gameplay, I don't know what to tell you.
I know, man. I know. So real quick, want to get Mr. Polk up here.
Yeah, I seen he's in the back.
What you got going on this morning, Mr. Polk? I mean, open forum for you, bro. I don't even know what to ask you. You know what I mean?
I'm kind of lost for words because I watched the game. Oh, God. All I can say, we need to clean house. I'm sorry. You know, the other day when I was having this discussion with Nene said some things that were absolutely right. But I'm go for, we need to clean house from Ross all the way down to McDaniels, and we'll maybe and also some players, because this thing is a mess. It's a mess, and it seemed like y'all mentioned earlier, and I was thinking the same thing after the game. I said, the plays haven't changed. These are the same plays from last year. And I don't know if it was on this platform I mentioned that it was a Baltimore Raven defensive back on ESPN saying that they had the tail on our offensive scheme, and y'all just mentioned it. But yet, if we can see it, McDaniel should see it. Greer should see it. Ross should see it. I'm sorry, I blame all three of them because of the chain in command. You mean somebody can't step up and say, look, somebody got to speak to McDaniels and change the situation, have him make some changes or straighten up? Oh man, it's a mess, man.
And I'm feeling you all the way, Mr. Polk. But check this out. This is from Adam Beasley this morning. He says, I understand why the Dolphins didn't want to bring in a more established backup given the delicate situation they were in with Tua this offseason.
Yep.
But in retrospect, it'll go down as a total blunder and one I doubt they'll ever make again.
Not me. I don't doubt it, because they made it every year since Tua's been here. And
There is so many things wrong with that whole statement, Cap. I don't even know where to begin, bro.
I know exactly where to begin. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt that they'll continue to do this again and again, because they don't bring in competition. They award people who don't win it fair and square. Look no further than when Matt Moore should have been the starter, and they said, no, we're putting in Ryan Tannehill, who wasn't ready. Okay? Look no further than
well,
when
is
they
he
trotted
talking
out.
about we won't make the same mistake next week or next year? Well, we've already made the mistake, so the season is burnt. We'll never make that mistake again. I mean,
listen,
what team has he been following?
Let's say Tua comes back, in the Cardinals game or the Buffalo game. Dolphins go 9-8. We miss the playoffs. We're rolling with Tua next year. Do you think they're going to go get a competent backup? No. They would never do that. You know why? Because they don't want anyone to ever have
it himself, Cap, because of the delicate situation they're in with Tua.
It's all about feelings and not about facts, bro.
And if he's talking about the contract negotiations, what delicate situation? We could have just walked away from the table and been better for it. What was delicate about that? We could have just said no. Wow, dude.
I don't see no changes. I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to tell nobody not to be a Dolphin fan, because I'm a diehard Dolphin fan. I do not see no changes. And we can sit here and say, okay, when Tua gets back, the sun's going to come out and shine again. I don't think so.
Jose,
I'm out as far as Tua go.
Your source is Adam Beasley.
Okay, I got the source. They won't do it. They've never done it. Has there ever been a quarterback competition in Miami? Ever? Name me the last quarterback competition we've had here. I'll wait.
I can't think of any.
No, of course you can't, because that's not how we do it here. The best man don't win the job. The most hyped, entertaining man wins the job
There you go.
and gets paid. Name me any quarterback competition. I'll wait, because there isn't any. There is none. And yeah, I get it. Some people believe Skyler was going to take these reins. I mean, it was a hope and a prayer at the very minimum, right? Or excuse me, at the most. It's there was no doubt. I mean, look, you measure Tua up to Boyle and Skyler, he's head and shoulders above them. Head and shoulders. As long as Tua fans, as long as fans give Tua excuses, it'll be a cycle. It's not just Tua, though, Larry K. Thank you for that. It's these fans have excuses for the shortcomings of this football team. And the excuses are fed by the organization. And the dumb, idiot fans parrot it because the organization will speak it into existence that way, as well as the pundits on the NFL Network and ESPN will preach it as such. Like, well, the Dolphins released a statement saying this, and that makes sense. You know why? Because the billionaire organization's protecting itself. The reality is the only thing they're protecting themselves from is us being pissed at them. That's it. That's all they got to worry about is damage control, that they don't want to lose fans because they don't want to lose dollars. That's it. That's all this has ever been. And listen, us diehard fans ain't going nowhere. And Ross and the Miami Dolphins knew that. So they're like, well, we got to make more money. That means we need more fans. Well, we're not going to get it by winning Super Bowls because that's really hard. So how are we going to get it? I know, star power. We're going to make, Ross said, how many times did he say, we're going to make this place a destination. We're going to make this place a high-class destination. And he made good on that promise because his real promise wasn't, we're going to make this place about winning football. Because I promise you that is not the promise, and it's not the agenda, and it's exactly what we are. Best facilities in the NFL. Whoop-de-fucking-do.
Oh man, to me that don't mean too much of what's going on with the Dolphins. I mean, that's not. Oh my goodness, I just don't believe I'm here. Just don't believe it.
Most points we've scored in the last 7 games was 22. Thank you, CCRR.
So this tweet from the great, the one and only El Capitan this morning reports from eyewitnesses. You always leave out a letter here and there, Cap. I noticed. Like you're typing on your phone or something. It's like the reports from eyewitnesses. Reports from eyewitnesses. Coach Mike McDaniel went into the locker room before the end of the game. He felt the game. He left the game. Quote, he left the game for the clock or before the clock struck zero.
I left out more there.
Right.
Yeah, it's supposed to be before.
Right. He left the game before the clock struck zero, one fan said, who was waiting in the tunnel to see him. Is that a different fan than we had on last night reporting that very thing on the show?
No.
Oh, same fan. Okay, great.
Same fan.
Yeah. You can take that to the bank. We got
as
boots
soon
on
as
the
he
ground.
came up and said it, I fucking went on Twitter on my phone and threw that up there quick.
Yep, that is sourced fully by the Finns tailgate. We had boots on the ground who witnessed it themselves. So there you go. We broke our first news, Cat. doing our own true journalism.
I don't know about that. We've broken more news than that, buddy.
Well, you're right.
We've
But I
broken
mean
more news than that.
But I mean, we sourced it. We actually sourced this news ourselves. It's from us. We are the original reporters. We got the scoop. I also have it on good authority from a source that certain individuals from the Miami Dolphins were seen at a nightclub on Friday night, pretty late.
Is that so?
Having some fun.
Is that so? In Miami or
in Seattle?
Really?
Friday night.
Huh.
I just was under the impression that everybody was trying to get Skyler up to speed. Forgive me for making that assumption. Yeah, the person reported that they were a person that was with them was mistaken for one of the players and allowed into the private setting where he witnessed certain players. One of them who had a fantastic game yesterday, so I'm not gonna say his name. So if he needs that on Friday night to have the kind of game he had yesterday, have at it, buddy. I think y'all know who I might be talking about.
Ramsey?
Who had the best game yesterday?
Chan?
Well, okay, forget the offense. Nobody had a great game on offense.
Ramsey?
I won't say it, Cap, but well, I won't tell you who the source is, but I will say that the reports were players, one offensive player, and I'll say Jalen Ramsey because he balled yesterday, so it don't matter. It didn't affect him. As well as, of course, the player that the person was mistaken for, who also had a great game yesterday. So,
Zach
I'm just
Sealer?
saying. No.
Yeah, Zach Sealer ain't that guy.
The player he was mistaken for was Ogba. So that's how he got into the room, is that the bouncers mistook him for Emmanuel Ogba.
So I just took the totals of the last 7 games for the Miami Dolphins, going back to the Dallas game that they won. Okay. And over these last 7 games, which the Dallas game is which they scored the most, it was 22 points. The Dolphins offense, since their last victory against Dallas last year, is averaging 13.5 points a game.
Wow.
13.5 points a game. There is not a team on earth that can win like that.
Unreal. Well, anyway, hit the like button. That's, I mean, it is what it is. Guys are gonna go party, I guess, but I just, it just
We're averaging 11 points a game this season.
When people tell me, oh, they know what's going on and they know that how to what the problems are and this and that because they're football players. Well, you're talking about players that don't even pay they can't even be bothered to pay enough attention to their problems on a Friday night before a game.
Real quick, Culler, because I got to bounce, but I just want to shout out ABAB and others that are like them. I think ABAB and others that are like them is right. We should take Skyler out back to the woodshed and shoot him because that's what these fans want to hear. They want blood for Skyler. They want Skyler to be dead. Let's just end the life of Thompson. because that's what fans want. They want the entire failure of this football team and the entire failure of this season is on Skyler. I just would refer to you as why the fuck is Skyler even out there? And that's because Tua wasn't. Because he
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
be.
All
As he
all
won't
of the
be for the next couple of weeks.
all of the
So
trash talking for Skyler, send that to Mike McDaniel. He's got an email address.
nope.
He's the one
Nope.
that backed him up.
Nope. I want blood, ABAB. Let's not walk it down. I want blood. No more Skyler. I don't want to see him ever again. This is it. Listen, if y'all think Tyler Huntley or Boyle gonna come in here and save us, y'all are wrong. You're wrong. Maybe Tyler Huntley in a 1 or 2 game sample size can make some dynamic plays to keep us alive, right? But is he gonna come in and operate this scheme, this East-West bullshit that fucking Mike McDaniel's got? I don't know. Who do we have? Who are we going against coming up? You
We
know what I'm
got
saying? Like,
Tennessee Monday night.
Jesus Christ. And they just took a beating by a quarterback that used to be theirs. They're going to be looking for blood. And let's not act like this team's going to show up for whoever's at quarterback because it ain't going to be Tua.
We've lost
many
to
balls-
Tennessee the last 2 times we faced them.
Yeah, well, take the money line on Tennessee. Better.
Real quick, Cap, if you got one more second, I got to get your opinion on this because Nene broke this story yesterday during the game. There was these interactions going on, and she's actually provided the receipts. Not only that, but apparently Sarney was having the same conversation with this person and also got a screenshot with receipts on this whole thing. So it starts with Nene had started a post yesterday, a thread yesterday, saying it bothers me seeing Van Ginkel balling with another team. 2 years, $20 million. We didn't have that, and spare me, he wanted to play at home. So somebody replied to her in argument. His wife and him had been talking about how they wanted to move closer to home. It ain't always about money. Nene
I
replies,
know for a fact because I've talked to his wife.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
Because you can say that, and I know you're gonna, but I'm gonna give you the proof that you're not lying before you even say it. So she replies, not buying it. That's the excuse people are saying. Greer failed here, simple and plain. And he just replied back to her laughing. And Nene replied back, I mean, his wife liked the comment. One thing I know, that the part about not buying it, that's the excuse people are saying. Nene said his wife liked the comment. One thing I know, look past the BS. That man loved Miami and wanted to stay. It's the Omar Kellys of the world that put out that nonsense. Saying they had a house out there, etc. Bull jive.
They have family and stuff.
Greer didn't want to do the right thing and keep him here. Pay the man. Now she posted a screenshot of Sam Van Ginkel liking that reply. So here's the receipts right here that Sam Van Ginkel did in fact like Nene's reply. Okay. Number 2, real quick before you get started, LCAP. Jason Sarney tweets out, can we all just understand this now? Thank you. Good day. And post a picture, a screenshot of Sam Van Ginkel liking his tweet, saying, for the billionth time, it was awesome that one of the 2 teams that offered a contract, they would have stayed in Miami if given the proper contract or a contract at all. Unless you were told directly or differently, they would have stayed in Miami. And Sam Van Ginkel, his wife, liked that tweet. So there you go. Everybody can quit arguing about it now. The man's wife said they would have stayed in Miami, that they wanted to stay in Miami. Period. End of story. I don't care who's right or wrong. I'm not involved in the argument. Okay. But end of story. They wanted to stay in Miami. So we can squash that one for good.
Oh boy. Yeah.
On that note, hit the like button, everybody. We're gonna keep this going. What so Caps jump back real quick. Cool. So there you go, Cap. The argument, whoever's been having it, is over. The Van Ginkels wanted to stay in Miami.
So, a little birdie told me on a numbered amount that the Dolphins had put together for a contract for Andrew Van Ginkel. And I tweeted about it that, hey, Dolphins are going to re-sign Andrew Van Ginkel. They've got something put together. They feel good that they're going to get it done. Yada, yada, yada. Comes back. The offer wasn't even equal to, and this is after Minnesota taxes. He, with paying the Minnesota taxes, which I don't know if you guys know this, Minnesota is one of the most taxed states around. They got a lot going on with taxes. Anyhow, it was about $4 million in total guarantees shy of it. They lowballed. They wanted to offer him around $10 million in guarantees for 2 years. An absolute spit in the face of that guy. It was disrespectful. And for a little bit more money to leave. Another thing, too, and I forget when Sam Van Ginkel put this. I don't know if she said it in a video or it was a tweet, but it was on the record that her and Andrew were really surprised that Miami didn't make them the fair offer they were anticipating to get. That her and him had envisioned themselves and already made friends and had a home and saw themselves staying in Miami for the long haul. And they were completely disrespected.
Now, I'm sure when the offer came from Minnesota, they were probably elated that a team from his home state would give them that offer.
Are you kidding me? I'm sure freaking Brian Flores flipped the table for him.
Right. So saying that they're happy to have gone home doesn't mean that's what they preferred to do. You know? I mean, who wants to deal with winter in Minnesota?
You know what I gotta imagine when Chris Greer was making this is that he's looking at pass rushers coming up in the draft, going, I'll hit Chris Greer with his arrogance. I'm a hit. We're gonna go cheaper. Crazy enough, and I don't know. Don't quote me on the numbers right now, but how much is Andrew Van Ginkel getting in guaranteed dollars this year versus to how much money is Chop Robinson getting in guaranteed dollars? And if you look at the production, the dollars definitely don't make sense. Now, Chop Robinson still got some time, right? I'm not ready.
Still got some time, but we need to win now, bro. And thank God our defense has been showing up like already. Shout out to Anthony Weaver. I do want to mention, while Cap has jumped back out for a sec, we got to give credit where it's due. We got to look at the positives from yesterday too. And yeah, defense is there. The defense has arrived. All right. I'm sorry to tell you, but that's some good stuff right there. You know, and I know we dropped a lot of points to Buffalo, but we pretty much shut them down in the second half of that game. And let's not act like three short fields didn't help with that. Current poll results. Got 195 have voted now. We got a good sample size going on this morning on the poll. Almost 200 of you voted should, and that keyword being should, McDaniel be fired immediately. Second keyword, immediately. 54% out of 195 have said yes. 35% have said no. And 11% have a sense of humor and said Tua should be the head coach. So that means that 65% of 195 people that voted think McDaniel should be fired or replaced immediately. Ooh, that's rough. That is rough. I'm not going to lie. That is rough. Yeah, Nene, that's pretty much what that poll is saying. McDaniel is now officially the scapegoat. Me too, Mansa. But I wouldn't care if it happened. I wouldn't care if, like, you know, it was a Philbin style, you know, don't even make it on the plane ride home from London. We don't get a win this week on Monday night on another long week. We don't get this win this week against Tennessee. I don't see Mike McDaniel surviving 1-4 or past 1-3. I just don't see it. Philbin has already demonstrated he has no problem firing a coach 5 games into the season. Why do you think we had Dan Campbell in the first place? Another guy we should have hired. I'll ask McDaniel, what do I know? Appreciate all 220 of you watching right now across YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Make sure you're coming over to YouTube and hitting the like button. It's here. It's stuck up. It's ready to be clicked. It's just waiting on you. And that's the easiest and most free way to help the Fins tailgate. And tell me that you want me to keep coming on every morning and complaining. But like I said, my job is easy now because I can just, like, all I got to do is do a keyword search for Miami Dolphins and half my talking points are already there. If I try to, what's the problem with our team? Well, let me flip a coin. Let me, take your choice, you know? It's a lot easier to do my job now. When we're winning and everything's good, it's kind of tough to do the job because you can pick ways that we're bad. And Nene's always expressed this. Like, when we're winning, you got to still talk about where we're failing. Otherwise, it's going to come. Those things will come back to bite you. Well, it's hard to do that because you don't want to be the sourpuss. You don't want to be the guy in the room that's like, after a win, that's like, yeah, but. So I understand it is really hard to talk about this team when we're winning without just falling in line and being a cheerleader. You know, it makes the job pretty hard. But when everybody is in agreement that we are absolute garbage, it's pretty easy to pick things to talk about because I don't think I'm going to fall on a deaf ear anywhere. If you don't like what I'm complaining about, wait 5 minutes. I'll get to whatever your complaint is. You see what I'm saying? It's easy to do the job now. From here on out, if the team wants to keep playing like this and all that, it just makes it easier for me to talk. I mean, I'm going to take the bright side and everything. I don't always sound like it, but I'm thinking that way. Like, yeah, keep feeding us info. Keep feeding us information to talk about instead of just winning and shutting us up. You know, so it ain't over yet. I'm going to still talk to you all about how we can win this week. It's going to be hard in that respect because I have no idea what our team is going to look like come Monday night. But I can tell you what we need to do. I cannot predict whether we're going to do that or not. And so we're at almost 2.5 hours. Good, solid show. Look, I'm not. Monday is meant for open panels, but to be real, I just don't see any reason for everybody to sit here and argue about why we were bad. I mean, you're just going to have a bunch of people yelling at each other and getting upset with each other. So we will find a time this week for everybody to blow some steam off and run, and I'll do an open panel sometime this week. But I can't do it today. Y'all are too hot right now. You guys are just too, and every one of you are right. That's why I don't really want to do a panel, because everybody's going to sit up here and argue and yell at each other, and everybody is right. I mean, everybody is right. If you want to trash Skyler, I understand. I don't like it because it's kind of, it's tacky. But I understand. If you want to trash Tua, go back to Thursday. Go back to the Jacksonville game. I mean, if that's what y'all want to do, take your choice. Every one of you are right. That's how I know we suck. We could all pass out game balls on defense. We all agree with that. That's good, finally. So we're about halfway there now. Oh yeah, you do deserve a place to vent, Nene. Oh, we gotta definitely let the valve open at some point this week. But for now, I'll keep it. This one kind of short as far as that all goes. Maybe I'll fire something else up later if I'm bored. And we know there's going to be no shortage of people talking about that debacle from yesterday all day today. I'll do a show tomorrow morning. My voice is great. I was at 92% to start the game yesterday. I fell to about 81% with my voice, and I'm already recovered to about 87%. So voice is doing good for the week. Got a little heated today, but how can you not? I mean, God, it's like, No, I didn't drop the link, Miami kid. I didn't even drop the link. I mean, I provided it to some people that might want to say something, but I didn't drop it because it's just, again, they were going to hear a bunch of people that everybody's right. You know? I'm hoping I covered a lot of what you guys have to say, because I feel a lot of the same. There's things I choose not to spend energy on. Like, I'm not going to spend energy on trashing Skyler. He showed me what I needed to see. I told y'all I needed to see this game, and I saw it. I don't need to see anything else. I'm with y'all. No reason to dance on a man's grave, you know? I've never danced on Tua like that. I've criticized him, yes. I've even nitpicked him, but I've never danced on him like that. I could start posting all the dumpster memes and all that kind of stuff. You know, the one with the dumpster rolling down the street on fire. I can post all of that stuff about Tua if I wanted to. I don't, because it's not necessary. And the man's still wearing aqua and orange. You know, I want him gone. I don't want to continue this nonsense. Not because of Tua. If Tua's willing to try something different, fine. Stop this Oh, wow. Everybody thinks that Mike McDaniel and Tua are going to be like Paul Walker in Fast and the Furious. Or, he rolls up. He's a badass driver. But what did Dom tell him after he beat him the first time? He's like, "You never had me because you never had your car." And y'all think he's gonna be Paul Walker, like he's gonna turn that around and finally get the message. No. Brian was never gonna beat Dom. You know why? Because Dom was willing to do what it takes. Remember when he wrecked the car? Got hit by the train? We got to get Dom. We got enough of this Brian shit. Yeah, he's a good driver. Everybody loves him. We need Dom. We need the guy that's willing to do what it takes, even if it almost wrecks him. And I'm sorry, going head on into a linebacker or a safety is not doing what it takes. And holding the ball on a Hail Mary pass while a defender comes up and hits you from behind, that ain't doing what it takes, Skyler. Sorry, it ain't. You got one job on a Hail Mary. Run around and buy enough time on a three-man rush to make sure everybody gets to the end zone before your ball does. And then uncork it. There's no thinking involved. It ain't going to look better than that. I mean, that's the kind of mentality that our players go in with these games with. Mike McDaniel said yesterday that it felt like they were upstaged by the crowd. Like they'd never been in a hostile environment before. That's what Mike McDaniel said. Philbin got fired when he was trying. McDaniel ain't even trying. So I'm going to end it there. Thank you, everybody who has donated to the channel this morning and everybody who has hit the like button and any new subscribers that we have gained today. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. We had 206 people voted. There's the results, people. Should McDaniel be fired immediately? 53% said yes. 34% said no. 11% said Tua should be the head coach. 206 of you voted. And I thank you very much for participating in that vote. Got almost 100 of you watching on YouTube right now. Appreciate you. We got 80 likes, so we're only about 20 short Let's squeeze in them last 20 likes. Get us over 100 likes, people. I don't beg very often. I sit here and I watch the team lose and delusionally tell you how we're going to win. I put it all on the line for you. So do me that favor. Get us to 100 likes. It'd be really awesome. We don't get, we're not usually on the high end of likes all the time. What's up, 310, Mike? Yeah, I know you are, AB. If you tolerate me and I tolerate you, we must be fans. Because if I wasn't a fan, AB would have driven me off a long time ago. Not going to lie. What's up, Greg Souza? Banana in the chat. Banana. Rube. Yeah, do what Rube says. Hit that like button. See Aquavision up in here. Sal, the Bills fan. You on pins and needles tonight, Sal? You know damn well you should be. Because them Jags got your number and you can't deny it. I highly recommend people take the points for the Jags tonight, but don't use your money unless you can throw it out the window, because I am not an expert and I am not to be followed. I can only say that I will be taking the points tonight for the Jags, win or lose, because let me see what it's up to. Let's see here. Hold on. I got to put in my code. I got to put in the old code. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Hey, don't look at my code, everybody. Let's see. That number. I'm in. I'm in. All right, let's see. Jaguars getting 5.5 right now. And if you don't think the Jaguars have the ability to lose by less than 5.5, I don't know. First of all, the Jags have their number. The Jags have proven they can beat Buffalo recently. Do I think they're going to win? I probably wouldn't take the money line. I probably would stay away from betting them outright to win. But man, that 5.5 points is really tempting, because I can totally see this game coming down to a field goal or 4 points, easily see that. That's what I thought about last night too. And let's be real, I was close. I took the 3 points, and toward the end there, Atlanta was down by 2. Then they go down by 8 or whatever, and it's like, and then they fail to get the first down on their last drive. If they win that game there on the last drive, they cover. They weren't going to kick a field goal because there's, no time left for that, and they needed a touchdown. So they end up losing by 5. That's still lower than the 5.5 that Jacksonville is getting tonight. So I think I feel better about the 5.5 tonight than I did the 3 for Atlanta. And that's why Sal and Michael K and all these people should be on pins and needles. Because the Jags could definitely pull this game out. You got Commanders getting +7 on the Bengals. That's another one I'd probably take. Because let's be real, the Commanders are solid. They're not terrible. And the Bengals, who knows what they want to be. Money line on the Commanders is +300. -400 for the Bengals. So this should be a pretty easy win for the Bengals. But that don't mean the score is going to look like that. I can see the Commanders cover in here. So that's tonight's football. Buffalo and Jacksonville have the early game, 7:30 they start on ESPN, and then you got the Commanders going into Cincinnati at 8:30 or 8:05. That's going to be on ABC and ESPN Plus. Look out for those two games. And make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you catch me Wednesday night with Miss Fins. Tomorrow morning I will be on again. And all throughout the week. Look, it ain't the end of the world. Might be the end of our season. As I said, gone in 60 minutes. That's all it took yesterday for Skylar Thompson experiment to be gone and over. Possibly our season to be gone and over. And it only took 60 minutes. So that's where the title came from today. Everybody have a wonderful day. Keep your heads up. Keep your fins up. It's not that bad. We're going to be all right. Love y'all and have a great one.